What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the
Creator
Show.
And I'm very excited for this episode here today because we've got some very special guests. Firstly, we've got Master Shri Akarshana here on the right joining us.
To all.
We have got Superstar. Some of you may be familiar with this Superstar. We got Lucie on the show with us here today.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, Lucie. Great to have you here.
Can I just ask Lucie, what are you known on Instagram for?
According to you? What do you follow me on Instagram for?
I think everybody should check out her Instagram. She's got a huge following.
Yeah, we'll pop Lucie's handle there. Stay for the rest of the show, by the way. Don't leave us just yet. We need to introduce our next guest. We also have very special guest the whole way from India here, Brija. Welcome to I Am Creator.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone.
Great to have you here. And how has it been? You've just transitioned. Or sorry, you haven't transitioned.
You've just transitioned.
You've transitioned from India.
You've just transcended.
You've just flew from India.
Yeah.
I believe this is one of your first trips away.
Yes.
With that first time to the UK.
Yes.
Leaving
Like overall.
leaving
Yeah.
mom and dad.
Yeah.
And I know your parents have been on the phone to Kaina and to
Yeah.
Lucie as well.
Yeah.
Hi,
How
Mom.
has-
Hi,
Hey,
Dad.
Mom.
Hello.
She's still safe so far.
There we go.
So far.
As of
So
now.
far.
So 24 hours being safe.
That's it. So how has it been? I know you've only arrived yesterday and
Yeah.
stuff, but how
I
do you
think a
feel
good
about
question is,
right?
how does it feel from being on the other side? Because you were watching these.
Yeah.
And then now,
Right.
now sitting
Actually-
on this side of it.
Yeah, because Bree was telling me in the car home yesterday that she has watched every video of yours from the beginning, from when you started out. Like, she hasn't missed a video. I was like, oh, so you like legitimately know all of us? And she was like, yeah. And then I was dropping her off to Master
But she didn't know who you were.
she knew who I was. It's
She was like,
fine.
Lim? Who?
I was
Who's
dropping
that? Let her speak.
I was dropping Bree off to your house, and she
At least
knew-
let her speak.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, there we go. Over to you.
Okay, so far it it doesn't actually feel very, distant
Yeah.
for some reason. It's like my parents were like, "Oh my God, it's gonna feel very weird. Like, gonna take them some time." I was like, "I'm going home. There's no, reason to,
Nice. She's speaking our
Yeah.
language.
Part of the family.
I'm home.
yeah,
I can imagine your mom.
I've
watching
returned
this.
to
Don't start
source.
saying that.
yeah. They're probably like, "Is she gonna come back now after she said this?" It's probably gonna go that way.
Wow. And your parents are supportive of
Yeah.
this journey?
110%. Like,
Wow.
they're aware of my daily ritual needs. They're aware of everything. They know my meditation times, my reading times, everything. And they're like, okay, this time we're not gonna disturb her or anything as such. And they're also aware that I've been following Master since it's September 2018, 27th September if I'm not wrong.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it's really weird because I don't recall how I found your channel. It was through something, and then I suddenly just found a video, and that's it. That's it. That was the beginning.
That's it. It ended there.
Now we are here. Now we are here.
Transitioning.
So you've just said there, after following every video, knowing who the team
Yeah.
were, being everywhere around
Yeah.
the world with everyone, it felt normal coming here. It felt
Yeah.
And I know you girls are working on a project. You guys are have got something very exciting in the pipeline, Lucie.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Yeah. Well, to give a little bit of backstory, because
Yep.
She was at an event, then she started channeling.
pretty much. Pretty much. That's the short version of the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was at one of many events up here in Lincoln last year, and it was a business event, right? So I'm already in business. I have several businesses myself. So I came. The intention of coming was to learn how to expand my existing
How
businesses.
to franchise her business.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put words in my mouth there. Thoughts in my head. But yeah. So anyway, that was the purpose of going. I thought.
Right.
But when I arrived, I was that really keen student, that one that most people would find really, really annoying. And I don't know if you remember, Master, but I, every time we took a break and you tried to run out of the room to not have to talk to anybody, I grabbed you. I was like, please, can you have a look? I just want some feedback on something.
I think so,
So I was that kind of person, an action taker, you could say.
Mhm.
But anyway, it all turned out quite well.
Yeah.
Because after a couple of conversations, I seem to remember Master saying, I think we're going to collaborate in some way, but I don't know what yet. I haven't figured that out yet.
Right.
So that sort of planted a seed in my head that weekend. No ideas had come just yet. But then I think it was by about day 3 of the event, all of a sudden,
She got possessed.
Was this Masters of Success or Superpower Life?
this was Business Systems Mastery.
Oh, Business Systems
Yeah.
Mastery. Yeah. Right.
So, which Master always jokes about, like, that's the least spiritual, creative one out of all of the training events, and yet I had some massive spiritual download at that event out of all events.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, we were there, and I just suddenly
Stood on stage, started vibrating.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
it was a weird one.
Yeah.
It was really, really weird. I basically got this massive. It started with an idea. I think because in the room there were a lot of people from all sorts of different backgrounds, all adults,
Yep.
right? All there to learn how to build their business.
Uh-huh.
But when I was chatting with different people in the room, you know, on the lunch breaks and stuff, I heard the same comment kept on coming up. Do you know what it is? They kept saying to me, "This is so great, but if only my children could hear this kind of stuff. I just wish my daughter was here because she'd love this, you know."
Or I wish I knew this earlier.
Yeah.
Or I
yeah,
wish
yeah.
I knew this earlier. Exactly. And, you know, so I think all of this information that I was getting from master's training and then from hearing all of these people in the room, suddenly this idea started to, it was like this energy was
So
just
you didn't
building
come here
and
with that
building.
plan. You didn't
Not
come here
at
with that
all.
proposal.
Not at all.
Wow,
It had
'cause I
never been a
remember that.
conscious thing for me to,
Right.
to work in this way. So anyway, by the end of the weekend, I said to Master, I said, I know how we're going to collaborate. I've figured it out. And typical Master throwing people in the deep end to help them grow. He said, okay, get on stage. Pitch
Speak
it to
about
me.
Pitch it to
Pitch
me.
it to me.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Pitch it to me in front of
Yeah.
a whole room. So
Wow.
I was obviously shaking. You thought I was vibrating. I was just shaking, right? Terrified, but
Wow.
just thought, I've got to take this opportunity.
You think you were terrified.
I think, Lucy, for the people watching at home right now, they're probably thinking, what is it? What's going on? Because obviously we know what it is. So
Right.
maybe
Okay, I'll break the suspense.
Yeah.
So basically, I got up on stage and I asked Master a question. I said, Master, when you're teaching a room full of people all of the skills that they need to be able to actually build a successful business, you know, maybe there's lots of people in the world who have great business ideas, but they don't have any of the knowledge of how to actually build one. And now this is not just to do with business. This is to do with the fact that the majority of us, we never grew up a lot of us, we developed a fear of failure. I think it's fair to say. School kind of teaches you that when you fail, you get a big red cross, right?
Yeah.
And so it kind of subconsciously developed this belief in our brains that failure is bad. And that's just one of, you know, an uncountable number of limiting beliefs, which most of us pick up during our school years, so that by the time we're adults, we are unfortunately programmed with all sorts of limiting beliefs and self-doubt and not enough knowledge on how to actually manage money, or, you know, we never get taught how to build business at school, do we? So I asked Master a question. I said, what's the hardest thing for you here as the lead trainer? Is it hardest to get this room of people to learn the key things they need to succeed? Or is it harder
Get rid
to
of
get
all the
them
BS
to-
that's in there. Yeah.
to get them to unlearn all of the BS, right? And so he can finish my sentences still. Obviously, the answer is the hardest part is to unlearn.
Right.
So then after that, when I sort of like flowed into this 40-minute pitch or whatever, but the short version of it was that this vision came out of what if we could
Impact the next
impact
generation. Yeah.
a younger generation before they develop
Yep.
the limiting beliefs, the things that the majority of adults of our generation and beyond,
Yeah.
you know, imagine if there was just never that obstacle.
Yeah.
How much faster could everything go? How many more businesses would succeed?
Yeah.
You know, what is it like at the moment? I think the statistics, something like
Like 90% fail. or something,
90% of businesses fail. But that's just because 90% of people have never been taught anything about how to be successful.
Most of it is mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
All
of it
of
is
that,
mindset.
yeah.
And I remember so it finished like that.
Yeah.
And then I said, so what do you want? She said, I don't know what I want. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll give.
It was a
And
great
was
pitch.
it was
I don't know.
It was an interesting thing. At the end, it didn't even need the numbers or anything. And I never offered anything like this before. And the context of it is basically, I think I said something on the lines of, I'll just invest whatever it needs to make this happen. And
Yeah.
you just take a percentage of the company. I said, deal or no deal?
Yeah, that's
And I
right.
was just like, and then when I said that, I was also thinking, why on earth did I say that?
Yeah.
How much does that mean? What?
Yeah,
Invest
but-
whatever you need. I said, that's not a business proposition at all. And, but anyway, everything was in the flow of the energies. And
Yeah.
I guess
Clearly.
there's this saying that says, man makes plans and God has his plans, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I don't know if you can remember, whenever Master's listening to something, Master holds this really like poker face, and you don't know if he's like, look at you laughing. You don't know if
Of
he
course.
likes the idea or doesn't like the idea. He just goes. And then at the end, I remember that day I was looking at Master while you were pitching. I was like, I don't know where he is right now. And then he just said what he just said there right now. But leading
And
on from that,
and here we are right now.
I know, that's
everything,
it.
and not just that.
Yeah.
And then ongoing manifestation onto also Brija
Yeah.
being here also.
So how did this come around then? I know you've been part of following Master
Yeah.
for quite some time, but
Yeah.
where's the link here between from this conversation?
Well,
to-
she was vibrating so strong, then she felt the
Felt it
vibration
from
on the
India.
other side.
Felt it.
Earthquake was going on.
Lucie's talking to me. So what happened there?
Okay, so it was the normal, I woke up suddenly one day at like 4 a.m. I like jumped out of bed.
No jokes.
You,
this is
you
for
heard
real.
Lucy. She's talking to
I was
me.
pulling you all the way.
Yeah, like
Where are
Yep.
you? Where are you?
She didn't fly on a plane. I just vibrated her over
Yeah.
to Lincoln.
Wow.
so, and then I was like, wait, why didn't anyone teach me this when I was a kid? That was the first thing that came to my head, like following Master and like having my own journey come out. Like, hey, if I can do it, the kids already know this stuff.
Yeah.
What's actually going on in the world?
Mhm.
Like, why are they being programmed this way? Then these questions started coming up, and because like I have an 8-year-old sister, so I have raised her the way I've been following my journey. She's seen me, and she's also coming
Following
up
the
that way.
footsteps.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
she's amazing though. You should check out her Instagram, like meditating together.
Who,
yoga
your
practice together.
sister,
Not,
your
not only
8-year-old
that, her
sister?
sister's teaching other kids how to
What?
meditate.
Yeah.
And practice yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw you post on your story that you found one of your sister's notebooks or something.
Affirmations.
And she'd written all of these amazingly
Yeah.
empowering statements.
So
Well,
it's
I
like,
only learned today from a conversation that after you guys had your talk and all today. Whenever I heard you, Lucy
Lucy.
running the youth project,
Hi, I'm Lucy.
Lucy, I was thinking like, oh yeah, that would be amazing, like to have
Mm.
more 18, 19, 20-year-olds, because that's what whenever I first flew over and met Master and stuff, I felt like I was the only young one here. But it's only today that I discovered that you are even going younger than that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that really opened my mind to a lot of
Yeah.
things, because we were talking about when as a kid did you ever get told like from between the age of 5 or 10 to go and create a vision board or ask yourself what do you truly want from life, and hearing your sister meditating and stuff and that's very powerful.
But,
Yeah.
but I think what's most powerful is when we were having that meeting before and you were
Yeah.
talking about the way of teaching kids.
Yeah.
How, because if you gave me a bunch of kids, I wouldn't know what to do. How
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
going to teach them? Get
Yeah.
the flip chart out and start writing.
Yeah.
It's like, but the way you were
Raise your hand and say yes.
maybe
they'd be confused. They're like, are we gonna like play Pictionary or something?
uh,
Because they play it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe if you set some context, let the people know this program that we're developing right now, in terms of how, for example, we teach kids best in terms of meditation, yoga. How can we make it even fun for them?
Yeah.
Well, from your experience so far. Huh?
Well, from my experience, from what I've noticed is kids are really imaginative. Like they really put their imagination out there.
Mm.
So the
Yeah.
key ingredient is to allow them to be the way they are, then take them into this meditation with the help of we have a bunch of sound meditations on YouTube. We have Master's meditations as well. Like my 8-year-old sister, she does that. And the affirmations and everything. It's like once you instill the practice, even for like 2 or 3 days, they'll start seeing changes. Then you can also, put in words like, oh my God, do you see a butterfly in your mind right now? Do you feel like a butterfly?
The kids are going to be
Can I
walking out
listen
of
to those meditations too? I really like that.
Freeze
I want
children.
to be a butterfly.
So to put it into some context for parents that are listening, what does their kid imagining they can see a butterfly? Because now I think the parents might be a little bit concerned. You know, you're gonna get my kids.
Mommy, I'm a butterfly.
Yeah.
So it's basically the whole idea is to, allow them to think that they can be whatever they think that they want to be. Like the setting no limits to their potential, because that kind of gets blocked in the process of, growing up. Like we limit ourselves the moment we're growing up. Like for example, if I wanted to be an art teacher, but I really sucked at drawing, the first thing that comes in is the judgment aspect. So all of these things are taken care of, and because of that, the particular meditations that were created and the activities were kept in mind that the children don't limit themselves, and to make them understand that failure is not a bad thing, that with practice you can perfect any skill you want.
And also another thing that before, when you talk about like things like meditation and yoga, like how do you get a kid that's so young who just wants to do their own thing, to actually sit down and meditate, let's say? Yeah.
You dance with them.
You dance with them.
You jump around with them.
And then
that's it. Then you just, ask them to like be themselves, follow them for a while. Because they feel like, okay, I am in command now. So, they get the confidence, like, okay. Then after that, you slowly shift them into, oh my God, do you want to see magic?
I like that. Yeah. That's what you said before.
Yeah.
What she said before was she said that kids love magic.
Yeah.
So as soon as you say it's magic, then the visualization, imagination comes up.
And then they're more receptive to learning and listening. But I think, speaking about what Lucie, you were talking about at the beginning of the show, was whenever you were pitching your proposal to Master about helping people unlearn. That's what the beauty is, I guess, with kids, is that there's not much to unlearn there because they're fresh vessels ready to go, right?
Well, I mean, scientifically, all the way up until the age of 7 years old, we're just in a permanent download phase.
Yep.
So, you know how maybe if an adult wants to reprogram their brain, rewrite their belief system so that maybe they stop having a broke mindset and then they start having a more abundance mindset, or, if they've spent years believing that they're not worthy, it can take a lot for an adult to tap into their subconscious to really reprogram their mind. Whereas when all the way up until the age of 7 years old, a child is downloading everything to develop that foundation of its subconscious beliefs. So again, there's far fewer obstacles, and it is quite shocking when you actually think about it that way, that in the first 7 years of the average child's life,
the rest of your life.
Wow.
That's scary in itself,
Yeah.
or incredibly empowering. When now we're looking at creating, or we've this weekend, that's why we're together.
Nice.
That's why we've created a program where it really actually instills all of the most empowering success mindset formulas for young people. Now, really, the approach for adults and the approach for children, what children need is the same as what adults need, but obviously the approach and the language is different. And although it sounds kind of easy to talk about rainbows and just dance with them and stuff, when I've heard Brija talk about the things that she's done in case studies already with children, I was thinking, I'm glad she's doing that, because I haven't had any children yet, but I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest responsibilities of my life. And no one gets a parenting rule book. No one gets a course on, well, I suppose you could, but it's not obligatory to take a course to understand how to be a parent. And yet it's one of the things that almost everybody can do. So, I mean, Brija, you were talking about, there's someone that who's 2 years old, 3 years old, who had a very, very short attention span.
Like, he wouldn't sit in one place. That was the biggest task.
Sounds like me.
You need to work with him,
I need the course.
Slim, pretend you're a rainbow.
You should be a rainbow.
You should be a rainbow.
But no, seriously, listen. Because
I'm listening. That's what I'm saying. Let's go.
See, his concentration's gone already.
Yeah.
Go on, Bree, carry on.
Okay, so the thing is, he wouldn't sit, and like he would only sit or sleep. Like that's the only time he was stable. Otherwise, he would just run. He would not even use his logical mind.
Bree, are you describing me on here? Seriously, did Lucie put you up?
He's
to
off
this?
Lim
again.
does that all the time. He runs and runs and runs, then he just hits the wall and he's
Gosh, wall. But in all seriousness, though, right? What I was just speaking about, what I've just from hearing what you guys are talking about here, there's a lot of people out there complaining about the educational system, and there's not very many people out there doing many things about it, which
Right.
I think this is beautiful to see. Some leaders putting things into place and working along with the collaborative forces to make that happen, because I don't know, every event that you go to, every event that we run, like you ask people, what's your goal? To change the educational system. It's like, but nobody's actually doing anything about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
a,
guys-
it's a tough job actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough because a lot of people. I mean, we were just saying just before as well when we were planning everything, is that sometimes people, well, with kids, everything's sensitive these days. Isn't it?
Yes.
Handing over kids to
Yeah.
other people and under some other training, and then as soon as there's some sort of new formality that people aren't used to, then they recognize it as some cult or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, this is what always happens. You
Yeah.
know.
But at the same time, I like to think that there's enough parents out there who are, they've been waiting for this for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
when
a
I
lot.
pitched
I
it
think
to
this
you on
audience
stage,
will be
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When I pitched it to you on stage, essentially everyone in that room was the type of person who probably follows you on YouTube also.
Yeah.
So
And all the parents in the room was already like,
Open-minded.
I want to send my kids. you
Yeah.
know?
yeah, they were all ready to sign up
Yeah.
straight away because they'd just been waiting for years. It was like basically when we describe it as I downloaded this idea, what happened was I think I picked up on all
Everyone's
of the
vibrations, yeah.
exactly everyone's vibrations, and I just happened to be the person who could. I was the
Translate it.
mouthpiece.
Channelize.
You were
Yeah.
translating what they were saying. mentally,
Externalize.
Yeah.
But following on from that, what you said about Masters audience and stuff as well, because we're not just an online based audience, we know from running events, we've been traveling around, you've been with us in San Diego, we're coming to India and stuff. Everybody always, I think every event that I've ever been to, there's been a conversation where people have always said, oh, I would love to bring my kids along here, because a lot of people who are finding Masters channel are at a point in their life where what they're currently doing is just not working,
Right.
and they're
Yeah.
looking for an alternative.
Right.
And the amount of people that have turned around to me and said, oh, you're lucky to have access to this information at such a young age. Like, I'm 40 years of age, I'm 50 years of age, and I'm only finding this right now. And then they see that for their children, and then they see that
Yeah.
for the people that they know close in their life.
Yeah.
It's great to start them at this age, though, right?
Oh, we see this program as breaking some serious family
Yeah.
curses.
Yeah.
Because generation after generation
Generation.
after generation, as I said, there's no rule book.
Yep.
The usual
Yeah.
rule book that people, draw from is what their parents did and what their parents did and what their parents did. And the same as with school system. The schooling system hasn't changed that much since the 1950s, which was influenced by the Victorian times. So, I mean, okay, now there's a bit more coding and maybe a little bit of mindfulness at
Yeah.
school, but really, like, the whole core structure
Yeah.
to the education system is very outdated.
Yeah.
And now, we are a very positive bunch of people. We don't like to just complain about the way the world is. And
Yeah.
I think our mindset is, out of every negative thing, we are very solution focused. So we just thought, okay, let's create a positive out of that.
Yeah.
So anything that we've ever experienced, I've been bullied, I've been picked on, laughed at for being myself,
Yeah.
which was, oh, you're weird, you're different, you're this, you're that. And so as a result of all of those experiences, I, during my teenage years, started to think, or I thought, I can't be myself. I need to, withdraw back or change myself so that I'm liked by people, and all of these kinds of things. So Brija and I, we've been discussing in the creation of this program, what are all the painful experiences that we had as children? What about those times when your parents were screaming and shouting, and as a child, you don't know how to handle that situation? What happens if you get stressed with exams because children are being put under those pressures at younger and younger ages? Now, a lot of those things we can't change. But what we can do is we can teach these young people the skills that they need to be able to instantly find inner peace when they're under pressure in the exam situation, or know how to handle a situation if there is some sort of chaos in the home environment. To understand that who they are in their authentic form is the most superpower that they could ever have, and to change that is something they should never do for anybody. And to understand that if a bully is bullying them, it's not about them, it's about what that bully is going through themselves. So any pain that we've ever been through, and we've been asking all sorts of people, and from that we've created this program where we're basically giving, how can I say, it's like we're filling in all of the gaps that have been missing from an education structure, which there's some good to it, of course. There's some core things which which are great. So instead of saying we should throw the whole thing away, and that's unrealistic for most people, we've said, okay, how can we enhance a child's development so that they never go through, or they don't go through half as much pain as they really need to do, and so that by the time they reach adulthood, they already know, they believe in themselves, they've got an unlimited vision of their potential, they know how to concentrate, they know how to handle pressure, all of the things that don't get taught typically at school. We wanted to be able to fill in all of those gaps. And Bella was saying when we were sharing this with her, she said, this is really going to change the world. And we're very confident in that.
Nice. Beautiful. And I think following on from what you're just saying, that it's going to eliminate in so many different ways. There's a lot of people coming down with like depression, a lot of kids suffering with anxiety, stress, under pressure, ADHD, and then they all resort to alcohol, drugs. That's what their go-to is. And just exactly what Lucie just said there now, that's very powerful, is about, imagine a kid being able to understand. In our world, Master teaches as well that if somebody offends you, if somebody says something to you, we are at peace now in this world, knowing that that's not our shit, that's their stuff. Imagine a kid at 8 or 9, if somebody comes up and says something to them, it's like, I had an interesting conversation today with someone, and like, imagine just an 8-year-old just sitting down, let me tell you what happened today at school, like,
I feel like it helped me to grow.
I had a good, but that's exactly what I can see, and just whenever you see it there, it's really great to see the work that you guys are putting out there into the world as well.
I think I got a question for Brija. Like, how did I know Lucie's backstory has a whole personal development upbringing and things like that, and blessed with that. What about you? I mean, where did you get your learning from, or was your parents always supportive of this type of thing, or did you just have your own mind? You wanted to learn it, or what?
Well, my mom's side is really spiritual. Like, we've had a master and guru and everyone, and everyone really believes in everything. So they're very familiar with the words of channeling and meditation and everything. So my mom, she wanted me to meditate since a really long time. So it's like I have struggled mainly with eating disorders, ADHD, and like depression. Like, I even forgot how many things, because like every time there's a new thing coming out. So
loads of labels.
Lots of labels.
Which
and that
disempowers people.
And that like makes you feel like very like, okay, I'm nobody. So when I started my journey, 27th September. So from that, I came to a realization that whatever has happened, it helped me look through things in a third person perspective, that there's no one to blame. And there's, no room for hate. Give love, compassion, because even the other person is hurting, right? Like, you're hurting.
It's so powerful hearing youngsters speak like this.
I know.
It's just like, it's so
Just
weird.
imagine when a 5-year-old.
I know.
Yeah, I know. But you do. I mean, even we have like inspiring Vanessa.
Vanessa,
like
Very
that,
true.
But it's crazy though, isn't it?
And my 8-year-old sister, she speaks like this.
Wow.
She comes to me, she's like, I was meditating today. I'm like, I saw this color, and is that related to this chakra or that chakra?
Wow.
And then she's like asking me the meanings. She meditates with the stones as well. So she's like ahead of me at this point. But it's only because, she already has a lot of it from her,
That's crazy,
past lives and everything.
It's,
And then
it's like Lim as well. Lim's
what?
like, Tokyo. So
waiting
is
to
that
get
in
picked
Japan?
up.
Is that in Japan or is that in China? So Japan, is that part of China? He asked the same question.
Actually, today he was being very polite. He was
Here we
asking
go.
me-
I'm getting thrown under the bus again. Look, we'll just lift. Yes, what did I ask today, Lucie? Go on, reveal me again.
I feel
These
like
guys,
this is
these guys
so
know
out of alignment
everything.
with
No,
what
no.
we're teaching
He
children
always-
to
he
not
always-
bully
he-
people.
No,
You always-
seriously, it's you just
no.
go, roll
But-
with it,
But we know we do this with all love.
We do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's
It
most
all
important.
comes from love.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
laugh.
By the
with
way, do you
love.
know what? I love my fans. They're in the comment section typing so hard. Like, Liam, we love you.
They find his corner. They find
Okay.
his corner every time. So.
No, every time.
We
They're-
don't need to
so
worry
whatever
about
you
it.
say,
That's
it's
why we're
okay.
doing this.
Liam, it's okay. I get you. And by the way, I love you guys who are typing right now. You type and you type with aggressiveness. I support you. You go for it. I love you too.
I'm gonna give you more to type about.
Go for it. What happened?
So earlier in the office today, Lim was
Okay,
being
I'm just
so
gonna leave.
polite. you know, he's so well mannered. Like he's so good at asking questions and everything. So
Not
he
the
was,
right question, though.
well, the first question was, "Oh, where's your fiance from? Is he Spanish?" And I said, "Well, actually, no, he's half British, half Uruguayan." And he went,
What?
Euro what?" And I thought he was being funny. I was like, "Yeah, Uruguayan." And he said, "What's Uruguayan?" And I said, "He's from Uruguay." He was like, "Is that a place? Is that a country?
It's
No.
an
What's it
island.
near to?"
It's
Listen,
an island.
He's like, "Oh, is it near Spain?"
Listen, we're talking about the educational system. They never taught me that in
That's
geography,
true.
right?
That's true.
They
I
never
really didn't
taught
know
me
where
about
Uruguay
Uruguay.
was until I started going out with a guy from Uruguay.
There
To be
we
fair
go.
to you.
Yeah. But
I-
you didn't
you-
throw me under the carpet that much that these guys are still typing. I can see them
No,
already.
that's actually just very mild. That one.
That was mild.
Yeah, we get that every day. So.
Okay, that's every day.
Thanks,
but
Lucy.
I really
Love
think
you.
this is amazing. I mean, even when I first met Lucy, I thought, wow, you know, so young and so much wisdom behind her and everything. In another way, now Brija is also that way, you know. And when I look back at like when I was 26, 27, I was still trying to figure out what all this was, you know. All I knew was do business and make money, which I did. I don't even know how I did. It must have been accidental then, you
Yeah.
know, because a lot of these things I wasn't aware of at all, and I was totally depressed and stressed and angry
So,
and upset. And
what was your
everything, you know.
mind like whenever you were doing business and only business and focus on business meetings and money? Like, you know, that like throughout the day, whenever we're working, like now people in the office just go sit and meditate, take 20 minutes out, take 30 minutes out. We all
Oh my
eat
God, I
together
would have
as a
shouted
group.
at you if you were working for me at that time.
What?
I'd be like, stop wasting time. You're crazy. I
Yeah.
would sack you. I would sack
Yeah.
you on the spot.
Yeah, but like, what was going through your like, what goes through like your mind and stuff like that? Because I know you've been brought up in, like Master said, in that upbringing and being from India and stuff. Like you said, family was always very spiritual. Not having that, what goes on in there? Is it just business, money? Whenever
Make money.
make
Yeah.
money, make money.
Yeah, make money.
Wow,
But I made plenty of it, so
Yeah.
I guess the focus still worked.
I know.
Yeah, but it's different because happiness wasn't there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Now everything's purposeful. And I think it's beautiful. Everyone's young here. Everyone's got their purpose. They know what they're doing. It's just beautiful.
that's
You
it.
know, beautiful
Yeah.
to see. Beautiful to be
Yeah.
part of this.
Yeah. On the
Bree,
show-
one final thing, please.
Oh,
How did you manifest yourself getting here?
oh yeah.
So I did the manifestation challenge that Master
Oh, really?
had done. Yeah.
Is that actually the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We didn't even know this. I
Wow.
just seen your post on Instagram
Oh,
today. And I
really?
just thought to ask the question.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And I actually created a video. So like I still remember the homework. It was like, create a video. The video was for the Freedom Lifestyle Challenge.
Yes.
And that got linked to the manifestation challenge.
Uh-huh.
So combining business with this,
Uh-huh.
so the mindset that was created, it just helped me, visualize and manifest it. So in the video, the task was, create a video for people to join the creator circle. And you would pick a winner,
Okay.
and you would pay for the trip to come to your place, meet you, spend time with you.
Oh my God. And now we've paid for your trip to come and
Yeah.
spend time with us.
Wow.
That's so
and that's
weird.
exactly
Wow.
the same way.
I
That's how
actually
Bella.
forgot
That's how
about
Bella
that.
joined
This
us
has actually
as well.
happened now.
That's how
Yeah.
Bella joined us as well. Bella, the
Yeah.
exact same
Yeah.
story that you've shared there.
Same
Similar,
story.
right?
So
Bella?
we got two
Exact
people
same
in the
story.
studio right now manifested their way here.
And they're like the youngest people in our community.
Yeah.
Please crack on with that school, girls. There
on
we
it.
go. Wow, there we
Yeah,
have it.
we're actually this weekend we're going to be developing a 6-part program. So the first project is to create a 6-part mini series.
Yeah.
And if anyone's wondering, we wanted to make this accessible to young people all over the world.
Nice.
So we're starting with things that people can access online from anywhere,
Wow.
and it's going to be totally child friendly.
Beautiful.
Like
And-
we're gonna make it less than $100 or so, and then it's gonna be like basically so it's accessible for all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
So
even
I
parents can sit and
yeah.
watch it.
I think
Wow.
literally giving it away just for the cost it takes to produce it,
Nice.
just so
Yeah.
that the message can actually get out there. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we just want to give back to that generation. And then another project that's going to be happening, if there are parents who would, want even more sort of one-to-one interaction for their children with a mentor
Yep.
like Brija. Brija's actually going to be running some live coaching sessions. So young people with their parents can tune in from anywhere in the
Wow.
world, and they're going to go through all sorts of activities that will help them to find inner peace, to expand their children's concentration, like you've been doing with your cousin. All sorts of techniques to help them understand that failure is a good thing.
Yeah.
As in, while the children will be practicing different things, they'll be celebrated every time that they fail essentially, because ultimately that's the only way
to success, right?
it's the only way you can succeed, right?
Nice.
So Brija's going to be really holding their hands and helping them with all of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think we'll put once it's all launched, we'll put all the links under this video so people can download it and
guys
be a
can
part of it, you know.
Awesome. And just following on from that, just while I thought of it, the manifestation challenge that Bree just mentioned there now, if you want to get in for a chance to become a part of that, we're actually running the manifestation challenge starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So there's a link in the description below if you want to register. It's totally free for everyone to join. You can get yourselves on there as well. But for now, guys, I think we are out of time. Just want to say, Bree, thank you so much for joining us the whole way from India. It's absolutely great to have you here, and I know you're here for another couple of days with us.
Yeah.
More than
Lucie, more than a couple, right? Like, what, 10 or so?
She's here
10 days or so. Oh,
She's
you're part of
gonna
the
be cooking
family.
for us, remember?
Lucie.
I'm manifesting that. I'm visualizing it. We
Is
want
it
our
paneer? Is it paneer? Yes,
we
please,
want our
paneer.
Gulab jamun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
my
I said,
God,
now
it's been
she's
a while.
not going to the Northern Lights anymore.
I can
That's it.
imagine myself staying in the kitchen for like half a day now.
yeah. I think it's gonna be longer than that. Don't limit yourself too much. Lucie, as always, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming here, and for Master Shri Akarshana for making all this possible as well. Thank you so much for tuning in at home. It's always great to have you all on here. And remember, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the thumbs up on this button. Be sure to comment below. Let us know where you've tuned in from. Let us know if this project is something that interests you, and you maybe have some people that you would like to get involved with it as well. And remember, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button just right there and turn on the notifications button with it as well, because we are releasing weekly podcast shows to spread knowledge, wisdom, inspiration. They may continue to make you laugh through using me sometimes as well, but that's totally fine. To put out as much positivity and love into the world. But for now, creators, namaste, thank you, and we'll see you next time.